What is up, ninjas? My name is Samworld, and today we're going to be going over the ultimate Serum sound set for people looking to make modern deep house. Now, first off, let me give a huge shout out to the people that have joined me during live streams to create this sound bank. Without you guys' song suggestions, sound feedback, as well as sounds you would like to hear in the pack, we wouldn't have been able to make a well-rounded pack for people to make modern deep house. So thank you to you guys for that. Now, obviously, guys, this pack has been heavily inspired by the Selected YouTube channel with amazing deep house tracks, but most importantly, the deep house artists that created those tracks. We have been heavily influenced by people like Nora En Pure, EDX, Pryor, JLB, Kesh, Stephen Murphy, and more amazing artists that create this amazing genre of music. We created a well-rounded sound bank, and today we're going to be hearing some of those sounds for you guys. Now, the first sound we see, guys, is going to be called BA Allures, which is actually going to be a sound recreation of a good remix for Allures SOUNDSET, which is a huge song. And that sound is going to sound like this. So as you guys can see, it sounds sort of like a guitar, like someone's just swinging the guitar. It's a very wide bass line. Now, make sure to explore the mod wheels, guys, as the mod wheels are going to give you access to different variations of the sound, like always. Standard deep house bass, as you guys can see, or you can have the very nasty Allures SOUNDSET remix deep house version bass. Now, as we move along, of course, guys, we're gonna have the classic deep house sounds made from FM. Now, these are gonna be cool, and you guys, again, the mod wheels are gonna offer you variations, like if you want the sound to be in stereo, and you can squeeze it. Makes it sound a little nastier. At the glass lid. So those are some good bass lines that you can use, definitely, guys. Of course, we're going to have the basic song. Please keep in mind that you can alter the sounds, obviously, like let's say you wanted to have a longer decay. So that it lasts longer, make sure to pull this up. So you can make those funky deep house drops. Simplicity is key when it comes to sound design, guys, as you guys can see. Now, if we keep going, we have this sound called the Tune Mama. This is going to be a heavy one. So you can see this one's an FM one that is heavily detuned, but it gives a nice sound. It was heard in a song, and someone recommended it, and I heard it, and I was like, okay, we can do this one. This one's pretty pleasing, and it's going to be a detuned FM. Now, as we keep going, we're going to have dirty bass lines as well, guys. This one's called Wolf. All right, so make sure to check those out. We can lower the woof down to get more of the... So it's very important that you guys go through the mods, guys. You're going to find various different sounds. You can consider one preset as 4 presets because... usually with the mods, what we try to do is we try to give different variations of the sound that we could have created with just this one preset. So definitely keep an eye on those, guys. Now, as we keep going, you know, we're going to have this one, which is a Moog inspired bass. Now, this is just going to be a saw that has been detuned and widened properly. What I mean by that is that when we widen the sound, a lot of people tend to do the Haas effect, or they tend to like mess up the phase of a track, sorry, of a bass, to get it wide. Here, what we do, instead of doing that, since we're like creating the sound from scratch, what we can do is we can auto pan, or sorry, pan one hard left and hard right, make the RM phase be fully 0 so that the phase starts at the same position every time, and then start it at different positions, detune a little bit so that you get a very wide sound that doesn't sound a bit of like auto panning, or like it's going poo, 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 changing kind of pitch or sounding weird. You can hear how wide that is, guys. And again, that's a cool little trick that you guys can have whenever you're creating sounds or manipulating presets that you want them to sound wide. That's the best way to do it. Hard pan left, hard pan right. But just make sure, again, to make sure that they start at different phases, have the RM phase down so that they don't kind of shift in phase and sound a bit different every time they hit, and you should be good. Now, as we keep going, guys, here we have a classic bass line. It's going to be another FM bass line, and Deep House has a lot of FM bass lines, but... come on, that just sounds so sexy. Like so smooth and just very fluid. It's going to be a bass line, again, utilizing the whole whiteness thing I just taught you guys, and then detune. But when you have two sine waves going at it, It just sounds beautiful. So as we keep going, guys, here we have another generic one. So we got those standard bass lines. Now this one is one of my favorite ones, called Humongous. Of course, it's named after the meme, the he meme, or H3H3, I call him. All right, so that's gonna be a nasty bass, as you can see. Next one we have is Korg Sumi, which I don't know why I called it that. This one's gonna be heavy, by the way. Let's lower this down first. So it sounds great. You can add a square if you want that to be a little bit heavier. All right, so it's a beautiful sound. Mod wheels will change it completely, as you guys can see. So make sure to play with. As we keep going along, guys, again, we're gonna have more of these. And again, the goal with this pack, guys, was to have good sounds coming out of Serum that you guys, again, don't have to struggle to get them to sound right in your track. And we're gonna move on to a bit of the leads. Now, the leads are gonna be made for melodics, of course. When we were hearing deep house, we were trying to create leads, but there wasn't that many. So anytime we heard a lead, we try to get the best ones for you guys. So these are going to be some of them. This one's called Lead Afterburner. This was a track on Selected by Jesse Andrews, which uses a very high release, not in mono, but the sound is meant to be used in mono. But when the notes overlap, they create this sort of distortion that sounds a bit but at the same time it sounds very pleasing, which sounds like this. So what creates that distortion, guys, is this release. Because if I put this in mono legato, you don't get that distortion that you hear. So if we have it, now you get sort of like that. And again, I know it's like a sound that not everyone's gonna like, but it's there if you guys want to use it. So as we move along, we have, of course, we need to have this sound. So obviously this is a sound inspired by Sonderling, but a lot of people in deep house use it if you guys want to use it very fast. So definitely, you know, pick it up, guys. Crazy sound here. It ain't deep house, but it is deep house. So of course we have the brass stabs that everyone's using if you guys want to use it on a drum. So obviously it's a trap brass stab, but you've been hearing a lot of the deep house artists using it to add a little bit more of harmonics to their track on the second part of the drop. Now as we keep going, guys, we're gonna have Funky to Legend lead, which is a beautiful lead. Which is just meant to be a very funky lead. Generic bell sound. And of course, you can use it as a pluck for your deep house track. Next, we have a future bounce lead, which I think will work really good in deep house. There we go. Guitar breakdown. Can make it into a plug. Of course, we're gonna have the house piano. Now, melodic guitar. I really like this one. We recorded just a standard guitar and beautiful guitar. Explore the mod wheels, guys. Finally, the last sound I want to show you guys is another Sonderling style bass sound, but it sounds a little different, a little bit of different harmonics to it. So it sounds beautiful. Just a standard saw, but again, the processing and the shaping of the sound is the importance there. Now, guys, the plucks are going to make a majority of the pack as well as the bass lines. So, you know, we're going to have a bunch of plucks. And the reason there's a lot of plucks is because a lot of the modern deep house is utilizing plucks that sound very organic, like metallic as well as kalimba-ish, marimba-ish. That's what I want to say. So you guys will see what I mean. So you guys can hear they use a lot of these kind of sounds which are made using FM synthesis with very high pitch ratios. This one, if we get rid of the mono legato, we can also use it as a pluck, which sounds very nice. So definitely, you know, make sure to get rid of that for some of them. But a lot of them are meant to be used with a bass line underneath, where the bass line is playing maybe the root note of a chord, and this is going to be playing either the second note in a triad, which is a chord, or the third note, which usually is the perfect fifth of that chord. Okay, so a lot of them are going to be contained here, guys. We have plucks like Crush, which are a little bit more EDM-ish. Let's imagine a bass under that. It will sound proper. This is one of my favorite plucks called Denali, which again follows that format. If you hear Nora En Pure, any of the artists I mentioned that we got inspired from, guys, they all use these kind of plucks. And it's funny, but they all use it in their own unique way. Some of them will use it in ARPs, while other people will use it as little ear candy melodies. And while some people will make it the main top lead layer of their drop. So as we keep going, guys, we of course got the Journey, which is going to be a good layer for, again, these kind of plucks. Now the next song we have is called Mallet, guys. Which is going to be a great sound, again, to layer on top of a bass. A lot of these plucks are going to be for that, guys. So make sure to check them out. They're all going to have different tonalities. And of course, we have the kalimba sound. Which you're gonna, I know you guys are gonna use. It's crazy, man. Now, the last thing I do want to say, the last pluck I'll show, guys, is when you use these plucks as well, try not to land them exactly at the same time, because you can create some cool effects like. So let's use a little bit more of an organic one. Let's see if we can find one. So what you want to do is hit the bottom note first and then the top note a little bit after the bottom note. It's very hard to play it on the keyboard, but I think you guys get my drift. Now, finally, guys, the last set of sounds we're going to have are going to be a little bit chiller than the leads, called the synth sounds, of course. Here we're going to have a bit of that. We can add a bit of FM to it. Make this one sound a little bit more wavetable-ish, as you can see. As we move along, here we have one called Christmas Time with. It's a beautiful sound. You can layer it on top of a bass, or you can use it as it is. Put a bit of reverb to push it more to the back of the mix, and it'll sound like we're in Christmas. This we have a sound called Ghost Into It, which is similar to the Sonderling one, which is just a little bit more chiller, like I was saying. Got a little bit out of key there, but that's just my sucky keyboard playing skills. Next one we have is called SI Iceland, which is a Nora En Pure inspired sound. Beautiful sound. Explore the mods, guys. And as we keep going here, we have a love making sound, which is just a Yamaha DX7 inspired piano. Okay, I messed up a little at the end there. So we have more of those sounds, guys, as you guys can see, and they're just there for you guys to explore. But that is going to be the Deep House sound set. Hopefully, again, you guys check it out. I've made a bunch of tutorials with this sound set if you guys want to check them out. I'll leave the playlist at the end of this video if you guys want to check that out again. So you guys can see how to use these sounds even better in a song environment. Again, the plucks have been designed so that you layer them with the bass lines, but you can definitely use them for proper deep house where it's a bit more of the progressive kind, where you don't really use chords but rather melodies and progressive sound. Or you can make more of the modern deep house like Kesh, like Pryor, like JLB, layer them on top of a bass with chords and you're set to go. Widen them a bit with a wider plugin like Polyverse and you're good. But thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys find this SOUNDBANK inspireful. Hopefully it helps you create the music that you want. And again, as always guys, thank you guys for supporting all my work. Hopefully you enjoy the sounds, and hopefully you guys support the channel. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.